Your body sends signals when something is seriously wrong. Recognizing these signals could mean the difference between life and tragedy. This article will explore 7 physical symptoms that you should never ignore. These are the red flags that medical experts say require immediate attention and hospital care. No waiting, no hesitation. This isn't about frightening you, but about empowering you to protect your health and well-being. Many older adults tend to delay seeking help either because they assume it's nothing or simply don't want to bother anyone. However, early action can often prevent a minor problem from evolving into a major crisis. More importantly, knowing these warning signs allows you to regain control over your health. This article will cover 7 key warning signs that should never be overlooked. These aren't vague symptoms, they are specific and real and often time-sensitive. Stay with us until the end because one of these signs could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Let's get started. One of the most alarming signs your body can give is sudden difficulty speaking, or when your words come out garbled and slurred. Additionally, if one side of your face starts drooping or becomes uneven, this could be an indication of a stroke, a medical emergency that requires immediate attention. A stroke doesn't always come with the dramatic symptoms we see in movies. It can happen unexpectedly and without warning. For example, Robert, a 68-year-old Vietnam veteran, was enjoying his morning coffee when he suddenly dropped his cup. When he called out to his wife, his words sounded strange. His wife immediately noticed that his smile was crooked and called 911. Robert was treated within the hour and made a remarkable recovery. If she had waited even a few minutes longer, his outcome could have been very different. The key here is recognizing the signs early and acting quickly. Medical professionals use the acronym FAST, Face Arms Speech Time. Time is crucial. Every minute a stroke goes untreated, nearly 2 million brain cells are lost. So, if you experience slurred speech, facial asymmetry, or weakness in one arm, don't hesitate. Call emergency services immediately. Acting fast can save your ability to speak, walk, and live independently. Sudden chest tightness or pain. Chest pain or tightness that comes on suddenly, especially if it feels like squeezing, burning, or pressure, is never something to ignore. This pain may radiate to your arms, neck, shoulders, or jaw, and while it might seem mild at first, it could be a sign of a heart attack or other serious cardiac issue. It's important to note that the symptoms of a heart attack in older adults can be subtle, slow to develop, or even very different from the crushing chest pain often depicted on television. Some people may experience only a dull ache, fluttering in the chest, or even a sense that something just isn't right. Other warning signs may include dizziness, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue, even without physical exertion. Take Helen, a 74-year-old retired teacher. One afternoon, she felt an unusual tightness in her chest while reading a book. It wasn't painful, but it didn't go away. She initially thought it was just gas, but something told her to call her daughter. Her daughter immediately took her to the hospital where Helen was diagnosed with a mild heart attack. Because she sought treatment quickly, Helen made a full recovery. Number 3. Shortness of breath without exertion. Feeling out of breath after climbing a few flights of stairs is one thing, but if you're suddenly struggling to catch your breath while sitting still, lying down, or relaxing on the couch, it's time to take action. Shortness of breath at rest can be a sign of serious health issues such as heart failure, pneumonia, or a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lungs. As we age, our lung capacity naturally decreases, and our heart works harder to pump oxygen-rich blood throughout our body. However, the difference between normal aging and a medical emergency lies in how quickly shortness of breath comes on and how severe it becomes. If you find yourself gasping for air without physical exertion, don't wait to see if it gets better. This could be your body's way of telling you that something serious is happening. Take Walter, a 76-year-old retired electrician. One evening, while watching his favorite TV show, he suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of breathlessness. There was no chest pain, no fever, no physical activity, just this sudden inability to catch his breath. His daughter convinced him to go to the hospital, where doctors discovered a small blood clot in his lung. Thankfully, Walter received treatment right away, and he was able to make a full recovery. 4. Unusual confusion or sudden disorientation. Sudden confusion, forgetfulness, or disorientation, such as not knowing where you are, what time it is, or recognizing familiar people, can often be brushed off as a natural part of aging. However, when these changes happen suddenly and are out of character, they can signal something much more serious, like a stroke, an infection, dangerously low oxygen levels, or even a severe reaction to medication. All of these conditions require immediate medical attention. The brain is often the first organ to show signs of distress, particularly in older adults. If confusion comes on suddenly, such as forgetting familiar places, people, or events, it should never be seen as just getting older. These abrupt changes may point to a medical emergency. Take Linda, an 80-year-old woman who had lived independently and managed her own affairs. One morning her neighbor found her standing in the hallway of her building, confused and unsure of how she got there. She was fully dressed but appeared startled and kept repeating the same question. Her family initially thought it was just dehydration or fatigue, but when they took her to the hospital, Linda was diagnosed with a urinary tract infection, or UTI, that triggered a sudden onset of delirium. After receiving antibiotics and fluids, she returned to her normal self within a few days. Severe or sudden abdominal pain. Everyone experiences aches and pains, especially as we age. However, if you suddenly experience sharp, severe pain in your abdomen, especially if the pain is increasing in intensity or is unlike anything you felt before, it should never be ignored. Sudden abdominal pain can indicate a serious medical emergency, such as appendicitis, pancreatitis, internal bleeding, or even a blocked intestine. For older adults, abdominal pain can also point to problems like a ruptured organ or an intestinal obstruction, both of which can escalate rapidly without urgent care. Take Frank, a 72-year-old widower who was known for his tough attitude. One evening after finishing dinner, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his lower abdomen. Assuming it was just gas, he took some antacids and went to bed. By the next morning the pain had spread and Frank was too weak to stand. His daughter immediately called an ambulance, and at the hospital, doctors found a twisted section of his intestine that had cut off blood flow. He underwent emergency surgery and survived. 6. Persistent vomiting or vomiting blood. Vomiting occasionally, whether from a stomach bug, food poisoning, or overeating, is generally uncomfortable but not dangerous. However, when vomiting becomes persistent or when there's blood in the vomit, it is a serious medical concern that requires immediate attention. Persistent vomiting, especially when it lasts for hours, can lead to dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, and kidney issues. Vomiting blood, however, is never normal and may point to a far more dangerous underlying problem, such as internal bleeding, a torn esophagus, or ruptured ulcers. Even small amounts of blood should never be ignored. Consider Evelyn, a 79-year-old woman who had been taking over-the-counter pain relievers for her arthritis. One evening after dinner she began vomiting. At first she blamed the shrimp she had eaten, but when she saw dark flecks in the sink she thought it might just be old food. However, her grandson insisted they call for help. At the hospital, doctors confirmed she had a bleeding ulcer that had been quietly growing for months. 7. High fever with stiff neck and sensitivity to light. A fever is usually a sign that your body is fighting off an infection, but if that fever is particularly high and accompanied by a stiff neck, headaches, confusion, or an inability to tolerate bright lights, it may indicate something much more serious. Meningitis. Meningitis is a life-threatening inflammation of the protective layers around your brain and spinal cord, and it can progress rapidly. Though meningitis is more common in younger people, older adults, especially those with weakened immune systems or ongoing health issues, are also at risk. When these symptoms appear, the situation can become urgent very quickly, so don't wait for it to pass. Take Jerry, a 75-year-old widower and avid crossword puzzler who thought he was simply feeling run down. One morning, he couldn't finish his daily puzzle because of a severe headache. By afternoon, his neck hurt so much he couldn't look down, and the sunlight from his kitchen window became unbearable. His neighbor, a retired nurse, recognized the signs and immediately drove him to the hospital. Jerry was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis, and thanks to fast intervention, he survived. Understanding the warning signs your body sends is vital, especially as we get older. Recognizing these symptoms early and acting quickly can mean the difference between life and death. The 7 signs discussed in this article aren't meant to scare you, but to empower you with the knowledge you need to protect your health and well-being. It's easy to dismiss or downplay symptoms, but when your body is giving you these red flags, it's essential to listen. Remember, you aren't bothering anyone by seeking medical help. You are taking control of your health. Early intervention can prevent a minor problem from becoming a major health crisis. By recognizing these signs and acting fast, you're not just protecting yourself, but also the people who care about you. The more you understand the importance of these warning signs, the more equipped you'll be to stay healthy, safe, and independent for years to come. Thank you for reading, and remember, if you notice any of these signs, don't wait. Get help right away. Stay safe and take care of yourself because you are worth it.